hello, and welcome back to another episode of me talking. Actually, scratch that, me yapping. It's the knockoff version. My Kens, it is officially the spookiest time of the year. The time when people put skeletons out on their front yards, and it spooks me because that's supposed to be inside the body. Put some flesh on that thing. But you know what the spookiest thing of all is? Capitalism. The pursuit of the dollar has been exploiting the innocent hearts of children for decades. And I'm talking about mockbusters. The kids want Coraline, but instead, many have received Caroline, and it's created irreparable damage to their trust in their parents. Coraline is a 2008 movie based on the beloved and also feared children's novel Coraline by Neil Gaiman. Caroline is a 2015 film. There is very little correlation between the plots of these two films. I think that's pretty standard for mockbusters. I think the main thing that they try to do is make the packaging look the same so that they can sucker overworked and tired parents into buying it by mistake. And then once they have your money, they don't gotta do more than that. They don't need to work hard on a plot. What intrigued me about this one is that it came out a full 7 years after the initial movie. How profitable is that really? So I was really curious about what this film could possibly be about, and what I found was actually creepier than Coraline, but not in a spooky way. You'll see. So my Kens, grab some popcorn and let's get into this. So Caroline lives in a van with her grandmother, which also functions as a shop from which they sell alternative remedies. And they very much emphasize in this film that they are not witches. They are healers.
It's important to learn these if you want to be a healer.
Brooms are for witches.
Not witches. Healers.
But then they have this big old cauldron on their van. The only people who use cauldrons are witches and refined ogres with a passion for the culinary arts. Caroline starts the movie by looking through her grandmother's closet for a potion that will give her the ability to fly. And hold up, why does her grandma have a jar of eyeballs? How did she get those eyeballs? Also, what sort of ointment could they ever possibly be used for? Hey, so my wrist has really been hurting lately. Do you have any treatments for that? Don't worry, I will whip you up a potion. It's gonna make all of your hurt go away. Just give me 1 second. Is that an eyeball? Yep. How is that gonna help my wrist? Oh, it's for taste. Oh, okay. What? So she spends all this time looking, and there is just a big, bright, pink potion sitting on a shelf with the imprint of a witch flying on a broomstick. Really makes it seem like they're witches. Also, why would they have a potion that makes you fly? What does flying heal? Childhood wonder? Caroline wants to fly so that she can join something called the Flyers Club.
Now I'm for sure getting in the Flyers Club.
Which is, from my understanding, a club of 2 guys who are parachute gliders. And that's basically Caroline's main aspiration in this story. She just really wants to get into this club. I think the reason is presumably she has a crush on the main flyer guy, a man named Selu. That's right, I said man, because he's a man. When I first watched this, I was under the impression that Selu was around Caroline's age, maybe a couple years older. But when we eventually meet Selu in real life, I was like, hold on. Either he is a kid who ate a lot of his veggies and went through an intense growth spurt, or this guy can vote. Turns out he can vote.
Imagination was flying high, kiddo. Wow, kiddo.
I have a feeling that Selu was supposed to play the role of a YB, but YB is just another kid, and this is a man. So he just comes across as creepy. The grandma doesn't even know who Selu is.
Hey, Caroline, look where I'm at. Still want to fly with me?
Hey!
Is this who put the idea of flying in your head?
So how did they meet? Why are they having FaceTime calls privately? Also, he's an asshole.
Did you see the picture I sent you?
Picture of the bottle? What's it for?
I think you use it for flying.
There's no such thing as a flying potion. You know, if you want to get into the Flyers Club, it's going to take a lot more than your grandma's perfume.
Really, Selu, you're making fun of a child for believing in magic? Meanwhile, you're answering phone calls in the sky while pretending to be a bird. If God wanted us to fly with the angels, he would have given us feathers. I also don't understand the logic here. You want to join the Flyers Club, little girl? Well then, show us you can fly. What is she supposed to do? You're like basically encouraging this kid to jump off a roof with a handmade parachute.
Caroline, where are you? You're being called, and I've got stuff to do, all right?
Yeah, like your taxes, like a 9 to 5. One detail I haven't mentioned is that Caroline has a cat. That's not a cat, right? In Coraline, there's also a cat, and it's questionably a cat.
If you're the same cat, how can you talk?
I just can.
Could be a deity, nobody's sure, but at least it looks like a cat. This is just a weasel that Caroline's pretending is a cat. I think her eyes need to get checked out. I think she needs an eyeball transplant. I mean, Granny's got plenty of them to spare. So Caroline's grandma catches her with the potion, which is called Upal.
My dear, forget the closet and everything you've seen in it. The less you know, the less danger you'll be in. There are bad people who want to steal our recipes. If anything happened to you, I'd never forgive myself.
What could happen? We have our magic medallions.
My dear, only your love can keep me out of danger.
Did she just pull that flower out of her eyeball? So immediately after this conversation, a bad guy comes. He works with this company that is trying to get the recipe to the Upal. There's really no reason given as to why the company wants the Upal. All this potion does is make you fly. There might be another thing the Upal does because the grandma really emphasizes how bad and dangerous this potion is.
Upal can be very harmful, Caroline.
And Caroline's like, well, then why do we have it? And the answer is just covered up.
If the U-Paul is so bad, why do you have it?
Who's going to clean that? Get away from my camera, that is expensive.
And then they never go back to it. So we never get an answer for that one. So the grandma refuses to sell to the bad guy. And the company says, you know what? Time for plan B. Crime. They follow after the van and Granny is like, I'm gonna lose him. And then she immediately crashes. Caroline manages to avoid being in the accident because she was goofing around with the Upal and flew out the van on an umbrella. And while she's flying in the air, she runs into Selu. Selu, were you also following the van?
Is that really an umbrella?
Don't scratch your head like that, Selu. It's not charming. It looks like you have lice. It looks like you have chronic dandruff and you need Head and Shoulders. Don't try to be Wybie. You could never be Wybie. Caroline and Selu run to the van to see if Grandma needs help, but she is gone. She has been kidnapped, and this weird Terminator impersonator is still there, and I guess he wants to kidnap Caroline too. But then the cat knocks this earpiece. Stay with me here. The cat knocks this earpiece from the Terminator. He becomes basically like a zombie.
Where is my grandmother?
What am I doing? What am I doing?
It's no use. He's out of it.
So I guess the company is controlling the henchmen through these earpieces. But I have to presume that in the process, it turns these guys' brains into goop. Because when it's knocked off of him, he suddenly acts like he is 6 months old. He acts like he's never seen the sun, ever.
Come in, Captain. I know it's early, but I'm taking dinner orders now. Captain!
What are you up to?
What happened to Granny?
Are you Mary Ann's granddaughter?
Good job, officer. You cracked that case. This police officer comes to examine the crash. He instantly wants to arrest Selu. Normally I would be like, typical cop, always going for the arrest, never going for the guilty. But I think his gut feeling was right on this one. He sensed a vibe on Selu that was probably pretty accurate. Caroline uses her magic to put the officer to sleep so that her and Selu can escape. And Selu, ungrateful ass, is freaked out by this.
You're crazy. What did you do to him? What were you trying to do?
My grandmother has been kidnapped.
You're losing it. You can't go around knocking out cops and talking about kidnappings, okay?
My guy, she was literally about to be kidnapped. You witnessed this happen. Here we meet the villain of this story, and she has such a way of delivering lines.
What is that idiot doing?
I can't even say it's bad because it's just unlike anything I've ever heard of in my life.
I love this eco spray, especially because I stole it.
Listen to that laugh. It cannot be imitated. So the company is trying to get Grandma to spill her recipe for Upal by spinning her around really fast. Guys, you have mind control. You have literal mind control. I just want to say, this company has insane technology. They have earpieces that can mind control people. They have a spray that can alter the shape of people's bodies. They cover up their headquarters with a force field, and yet they can't make an umbrella that can fly. Why do they even want that?
Hello, Mother.
How will I play poker? The new woman you brought me doesn't know how to play.
Her mom is off her rocker. All the mom wants to do is play games, and she keeps stealing their torture victims to play poker.
You know how to play poker?
I know how to play poker.
No? Yes. You know I have to play. The doctor recommended it, remember?
And when she wins, she sings this really weird song.
4 aces, 1 small banana, a cup of blueberries.
A tablespoon of honey, a tablespoon of honey, a tablespoon of honey.
It's unnerving. Like, I think the mom might be the spookiest part of this whole movie. You know, maybe the villain just wants the Upal because she thinks it's gonna fix her mom's brain. Or maybe she just wants to fly. She really just wants to fly.
Bring me the recipe, or you can forget about your granny.
Don't touch her head. This is what I mean when I say it's creepier. Selu constantly disrespects her boundaries. She wants him to leave. He won't leave. She physically has to push him out of the van. She doesn't want him to see her grandma's stuff, and he just doesn't respect that either.
You can't see this!
Huh?
Don't look! Get out!
I already saw you flying on an umbrella.
Now he's like touching her like creep. Wee woo wee woo.
Hey, little... Ah!
Man, the cat hates this guy's aura too.
I feel awful for not paying attention to my grandmother. I've been reading a lot about healers and, well...
Must
they're-
be exciting learning about all those mysteries and secrets with your grandmother.
And also really sad because many of them lost everything. They were burnt at the stake.
Man, that is really sad.
And people called them witches.
Selu is such an asshole. The history of being called a witch is really sad because they were like burnt at the stake. Oh man, yeah, that is sad. Duh. I also want to say there are these 3 snails that follow Coraline around, and she herself admits that they are annoying.
Those things are really weird.
I know, they're really annoying. They follow me wherever I go, and I just can't get rid of them.
Ah!
And they basically just parrot everything that she says, but like really off key.
Mix ingredients together for your special magic potion. Drop of affection, some memories, the recipe is done.
If I was crying about how my grandma has been kidnapped and is being tortured by this evil company, and these snails were singing a little happy song, I would send them to France. Escar, go. My point being, I think she might be cursed.
Caroline, now you're the one giving me chills. Don't tell me you have powers.
Selu, you dumb fuck. She flew on an umbrella. What, did you think that was the strength of the wind? Thank God, in the next scene, Selu is arrested and Coraline is on her way to save her grandma. So if you've never seen Coraline, there's this really charming, whimsical song that is sung about Coraline. And I'm happy to report that this movie also has a song about Caroline. And it sounds exactly how you would imagine a song about Caroline would sound.
Caroline, fly high with me above. You don't need a glider or wings to fly. Dreamer always aiming high. Remember you have magic in you. You can do whatever you wish to do.
I do want to point out the line, she doesn't need gliders to fly. Put a pin in that one. On her way to the company, she runs into Selu's friend and the only other member of the Flyers Club. Together, they break into the headquarters.
Well. the little girl who can fly. What a wonderful invention.
They're carrying that umbrella like it's a hostage. Coraline says that she'll make the oopal for the villains if they'll set her grandma free.
Ooh, what flowers are these?
I already gave you the instructions.
But what are they called?
They're called none of your business, lady.
Whoa, I guess the cauldron isn't the only thing getting roasted. So after Caroline's completed making the potion, they put the earpieces on Caroline and her grandma. Why didn't they just do that before? It doesn't matter anyways because Granny escapes its power because she's deaf in this ear.
What's going on? What's wrong with the earpiece?
I'm deaf in this ear, remember?
And it's like, I'm sorry, you're deaf in one ear? Why can't you heal that? Man, I'm starting to feel like they're more witches than they are healers. So Caroline actually put resin in the potion, and she knows that they are such greedy capitalistic pigs that they're gonna slather that shit right on the second it's done, which they do. And then they get stuck, which gives Caroline and her grandmother the opportunity to escape. On the way, killing most of the henchmen who might be innocent. They might just be being mind controlled. Their brain might also have been turned to goop, so it might be mercy kills. Caroline throws a lot of them into this gigantic swirling green pit that is just in the middle of this factory, which seems like a wild safety hazard. There's not even a guardrail up around it. It's just waiting for someone to trip into it. I have no idea what it is, but I'm guessing it leads to sewage because at one point, Selu's friend falls into it.
Caroline, help me! This stuff smells terrible!
And I was like, oh, he's dead, like flying high in the sky. But then he shows up at the end and he's covered in gunk and he apparently smells really bad.
Thank you. We couldn't have done it without all your help.
Oh, this stuff smells.
I don't know why he says it like that. It's a weird sound to make, especially if you're covered in shit.
Granny, technology, just like the opal, can do both good or bad.
Yes, sweetie. It all depends on how we use it.
They try to shoehorn in some message about how technology and nature are both good and they have to learn to work together. I don't know. It was just put in there because this is a kid's movie and there has to be some message, right? Then they all glide into the sunset.
No need for that umbrella anymore. You're flying with us.
You don't need a glider or wings to fly.
Don't worry, you don't need that thing anymore. Now you're part of the Flyers Club.
You don't need a glider.
The song said that she didn't need gliders to fly. So what's the message here? Does she need gliders? Does she not need gliders?
Selu, will you come with me to pick flowers tomorrow?
The flowers are useless. You don't need that recipe to fly anymore.
You don't need
God, I hate Selu. I hate this man. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you made it this far and you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to join the Kens. Kens are what I call my subscribers. They are not knockoffs. They're the real deal. So my Kens, I hope you're having a great start to the fall. I hope you're not getting too spooked out there. And I will see you all in the next one. Fly high.